Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk about how to manage your time. I'm Rosemary Hoffman, and I am a specialized instructional tutor. We're going to try to talk about different workshops and what is going on and how we become successful in our classes. So, the first thing to do is we want to compare our colleges to high school. No one holds your hand to make sure that you get your assignments done here. Going to class is an option. You don't have to go, but you really should go. And you set your own schedule. So these are really important things to compare because it is really different from high school. Again, here's more. No one's going to tell you when to do your homework or when to study. You definitely have the right to fail, and classes may be larger than when you're in a lecture hall than what you've been used to in high school. High school is different from college. You must come to that realization. No one is going to force you to do anything here. You do the schoolwork or you're going to fail your classes. I really like this saying from Benjamin Franklin. I think it's perfectly, a good saying that I think everybody should live by. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So, I think it was a great saying. I love a lot of sayings that he has. So this is one that I think is really great for college students to hear. I have a link here. I can't open it, but I'm going to tell you what it's about. There's a Cornell University study. It's about 40 hours of studying, 40-hour a week that people are working, and they're finding that students are failing because they're working too many hours. And so this study goes on to show this, and it's really important that we understand that you can't keep working a full-time job and be able to hold a really decent grade in your college. So, we got to cut back on the hours. We have to be able to share the time that we have at college to make that the most important thing than working a 40-hour week and not being successful at your college. So what are some of the complaints that I hear from students? These are the most common that I hear about students who aren't successful. A lot of them will say, I'm too busy, or there's just not enough time in the day, the teachers don't understand, or that the teacher is giving too much homework. Another one's, I'm falling behind and I can't catch up, and there's nothing I can do. So you don't want to put yourself in those situations. So try not to put yourself into those situations where you start falling behind in your classes and then you can't catch up. So right now we have COVID going on and we have a lot of online classes. So a lot of people aren't coming to the school. So, right now you have extra time to sleep, and hopefully you're getting 8 hours of sleep right now. It's really important because the brain has to regenerate, so you really want to make sure you're doing the 8 hours of sleep. You're saving time on getting ready. Right now you can jump up and be in your pajamas and go to class. So getting ready and shaving and showering and all those times, that usually takes about an hour. And then you really don't have to go anywhere. You can just grab your food and go to class, and so you have time another hour that you have extra, just preparing foods and eating and stuff. So, and then again, you don't have to run errands as often, and you're not driving to school anymore. So, these are places that you can save. You have extra time now. So I think it's really important that we realize that we have all this extra time. What is important and essential tasks? Going to school, going to work, going shopping for food. These are really essential things. Doing your homework and studying for tests is really essential, and going to the doctors, the dentist, picking up your kids, taking care of your kids, all of those are essential. So let's talk about what's not essential. So not essential time is checking up on your social media, gaming, watching YouTube, socializing, washing, drying, folding clothes, cleaning and washing your car, playing with your, partying with your buddies, going to see a significant other sometimes. And if there's anything else I missed, you can think about and let me know at some time. But those are really the non-essential things that you have to do. So what we want to do is we want to talk about your schedule. So I'm going to give a schedule up here for students to see. And this is going from 12 a.m. to 11 p.m. You even have that little extra hour right there so you can get to the 12 o'clock time. So what I want you to do is I want you to take time while we're doing this workshop to actually put down your schedule. Really important because, and I mean, I want everything. When you sleep, when you go out, when you eat dinner, when you go to work, everything. And I'm going to show you what a normal student at Cape Fear Community College schedule is like. So we're going to go down to that. So if you can pause this while we're, talking and it's being recorded, pause this one for right now and put your schedule out. Okay, so we're going to go on to the reality of a student at our college here. You can see on Sunday morning they're still socializing and then they want to sleep in. And so you can see these are all the sleep habits of a student. And I've gone and I've asked, so this is really the average time of a student sleeping. And then here's time to get ready, eat their breakfast, drive, go to the gym, and then start taking their classes. And you can see they have a psychology, math, lunch, and English. And then they have a biology and biology lab, and we go back, and you have an ACA course here. And you can see that's the works, the time that they're going on. So when they actually start taking classes is around 10 o'clock in the morning. And by the time they're finished their classes, it's 2 o'clock. So you can see that this is what a normal time is. And you can see, you grab lunch here, you grab lunch here, Tuesday at 1:30, but then immediately you hop off and you start driving again, and then you go to work. And if you have a chance to have dinner, you get to have it in here. Otherwise, you have it here once you get home. And you can see socializing is taking place here. So this is all free time in the yellow spaces. So we have free time and when you're really socializing and, getting ready to go out and then driving to where you need. That's really what a typical student does here. So let's talk about the fact that you're setting up those classes. So does anyone understand what stacking classes is all about? Because it's really important that you need to know this, because you're going to realize that by stacking your class, it's not going to help you to be successful. So stacking classes is when you schedule and you take classes one right after the other. And you can see back on our last slide where this person, and I'll move to the next one so you can see it too. They take their class right after one another. So who may be the most likely to do this is those that are parents that have to be home in time for their child to arrive, and somebody who works at night. So you can see that when we're stacking these classes, we can go back here. Again, you can see it's piled on one right after the other. So we try not to do this because it's really important that we don't. You can see right here again, 10 o'clock is history, psychology, math, public speaking, 4 right in a row, just so we don't have to come to school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we stack our classes on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays so that we have Monday, we have Sunday and Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday off. So that, again, is another typical schedule where you just pile in every class right in a row, not giving yourself that 10 minutes to eat, which you really should take some time to be able to eat. So we see students also doing this. So here's another schedule. You can see, again, we're stacking all those classes, just a little easier to read on this one. And so we're going to talk about, like, again, how to stop this. I made it bigger so that you're able to see those real stacking classes here. So let's talk about what we need to do to manage your time and your schedule. So how many hours are you working? So the average working time for anyone is usually 40 hours a week. How many credits are you taking? So let's just talk about that 40 hours a week of the actual worker who works a full-time job. So let's talk about how many credits are you taking. So say you're taking 12 credits. And how much do you need time to study? So you got the 12 credits, and for every hour you're in school, you need at least 2 hours of studying per credit. That makes 24 hours. And how many hours are you working? Another 20. So if we add all these numbers up, and you know that the average person is supposed to be working 40 hours, and you see that you're taking 12 credits, you need 2 hours to study, 24, and then you're working another 20 hours outside of your classroom. That equals up for a student is 56 hours of working, which is a lot. You're young, and 56 hours may not be a lot, but it is. I mean, because they've done statistics that 40 hours is a good amount of hours to work for someone a week without them being tired, overexhausted, or anything. So you can see you're already head above that 40 hours of working. So what is the best time for you? So as we talk, there are a lot of people who are morning people. And personally, I'm a morning person. I want to get everything done in the morning. I don't want to wait till the afternoon. By nighttime, I just don't want to do anything. So I'm a morning person, but there are a lot of people out there who aren't. So, think about yourself and, think about where you are. Are you someone who likes to work in the afternoon? You want to sleep in a little bit, the afternoon's your time. And then there's the night person. They love to work at night. Morning is not the best time for them. They'd rather do everything. So what you should do is, if you're a morning person, you really want to start your classes early. Afternoon person, get them in midday, and night person should be taking night classes or later in the afternoon. Those are the best times for you, and you got to also put in that those are the best times for you to study. So let's talk about realistic goals. So we want to talk about the realistic goals because we want to be able to say, this is what I can, in reality, do to succeed, to make sure my classes and my work time and everything is in place. So let's start setting realistic goals. You might want to say, I want to graduate in May of 2022. So let's be realistic. If you're going to work a lot of hours, then you probably aren't going to get the A. But we're going to say you are. So you're going to say, I want an A, but I'll take a B. Set those reasonable times to be able to study for your classes and make time to do 2 hours of studying for every hour you're in class. How long will it take? 2 to 2.5 years to get out of school, because at a full-time person that's taking 12 credits and they go on, you might be able to do it at 15 credit hours to get out by 2 years, but you really need to stick to that, and you need to see what the timeline is to be able to successfully graduate. What will it take to get to that goal? Well, you probably want to start working fewer hours and free up some time to study. Make sure you set those realistic goals, that this is what you want to do. So the first thing you want to do is set up the calendar. Setting up a calendar and doing daily reviews on the calendar really helps. Plan your days out, cross off all the things that you've accomplished. I worked with a student and I could see she was checking everything off. So, that's the best way to do it, is either cross them out so you know that you've accomplished them. And then move on to the next thing that you haven't done. And turn to the next page and add to those the things you haven't accomplished today, so that they're always there, fresh in your mind, that that's still what you have to do. So, you don't want to keep them on that same page, cross them out, and not move anything over. When you do this over and over, it just becomes a part of your daily routine. And that's really what you want to do, is pick up a routine. So let's talk about a calendar. I think this is one of the best calendars that are out there. It gives you times where you're in school, things you have to do, who you have to contact, things to remember, like you're going to take a test, and expenses. I have to pay the rent this month. So here we go. We got all this information. Gives you the, this is an old calendar, but you can grab it right off of the internet planner. So they have them out there. So what do you want to do? You want to make a list of the most important things that you have to do. So make this list of studying for your test, studying for your history. You have to write an essay for English. Then you have to do a project for psychology. You have to pay the rent. So in the bottom of it, you pay the rent. Call your parents, because I know you're going to call them and say, hey, can you send me some money? Those are really important things. So those are the list of the most important things to do. Things you want to do after you've accomplished all the things that you're supposed to do. Put stuff in there that's going to say, okay, these are really my important goals, but here's the fun things I want to do. So you put in gaming, watching TV, reading your social media, going out with your friends, or going out to dinner. List what you want to do first. If you get all and everything done, it's going to be like a reward to you, and you get to enjoy that time, not worrying about the fact that you still have to study for a test. So we're going to set up a schedule, and we're going to talk about how to set the schedule up and why I think this one is one of the best ways to put this in your calendar. So here's a calendar. So we're going to talk about waking up, just get your alarm, set it up for 7 o'clock. You got prep time where you're getting ready to start your day. If you're coming to class, you're going to need time to park. You're going to have time to get to your class, your travel time. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get to school, and you're going to try to get there 20 minutes early for your class. You want to look over everything. And hopefully what you're doing is reading your chapter before time. And here you're just doing an overview of your psychology course. And then you're going to go to class. Once you're done that and you're out of class, you hear what the teacher has to say, you take notes, you just want to read that chapter over again, look over all the viewpoints, and then look over your notes. Again, do the same thing, get prepared, for your next class. And take a little bit of a break before you head to your next class. And then 10 minutes before you go in, relax, take some time out and get prepared. Take your next class, review for that class. Even when you're reviewing, you can eat your lunch and then prepare for your next class. Each time you do this, you are pulling in study time right here after each class and before the class, preparing you to be able to take your test 3 weeks down the road. Okay, so, and then you can go to work. Also here you have, what you want to do is request tutoring at the very beginning of the year. Just put in all the classes for requesting. That way, when it's time to be able to see a tutor, it's all in there. You don't have to worry about it. Make your phone calls if you have to talk to somebody, Mary at church, or your electric bill or whatever, just make sure you do all those and then make sure you pay your bills. Things you need to remember is, oh, I have a test that's coming up, in February. So let's put that down. And then I have to study chapters 1, 2, and 3. So you give yourself 3 weeks for that test to come up, and you're going to do all your studying. But you're going to have time to do all your studying here before and after the classes. So you can see we did the same thing over on this side, making sure that you say, I have a test, and this is chapters 1 through 5. And everything we don't accomplish, we can move on. And you can see we're moving things on. Anything that wasn't accomplished, we're moving over to the next page. So, here we go. We talk about what's our normal day, and here's our, the following week. So we've gone from Monday to Tuesday, now we're to Wednesday and Thursday. And you can see there's a whole list of more stuff to do. Again, paying your bills and preparing so that Thursday, you don't have a whole lot going on. As we keep going on for the following week, you can see we're preparing and getting ready for, our classes and our test and, what becomes important. So let's talk about a monthly calendar. I think this is one of the best things to have on your desk is a monthly calendar. It really, will emphasize what's important. Keeping track of your test, especially. So let's talk about here. You can see up here, we're talking about here's a math test. Here's a psychology test coming up. Study for chapters 1, 2, and 3. But in between time, you can say, okay, I'm going to study chapter 1. I'm going to study chapter 2. So you can see chapter 1 is here, first day of classes, chapter 1 I'm going to study, chapter 2 I'm going to study, chapter 3 I'm going to study, review for chapter 1, 2, and 3, and take your test, and you'll be prepared. Again, another calendar that can tell you, do this and take care of that. The reason most students struggle is because they start their schoolwork too late. And we really do find that this is a problem. They wait till the last minute, they procrastinate, and I don't know if anybody's a procrastinator. I know sometimes I am, and I will wait to the very last minute to do anything. But most of the time I try to start my project as soon as I know it's coming up. I may do little fix up at the very last minute, but usually I try to start as soon as possible. So start studying for the test. Schedule a date when you want to start. Start your papers and give it a date when you want to start. And starting projects, put it down on that monthly calendar saying this is when it's due. Do your homework. Work on the hardest class first because you'll find yourself frustrated and going to the other classes won't be as hard. So you work on the hardest one first. If your work hours are scattered and no one's giving you the time, ask for regular schedules. They are very good about working with students to make sure they are successful at college. So ask for a regular schedule and ask that you know what your schedule is so that you're not constantly having to move things around. Say I need to be more organized, and it would help if I had a regular schedule. Most people won't go against that. They understand, especially if they've been to college and they know what it's like. So avoid putting off tomorrow what you can do today. I think this is one of the most important things. So let's work on a calendar again and go back, and we're going to write down a piece of paper and we're going to put down what is most important. So with A, you're going to put down what's most important. B, you're going to put down it's important but not as important. And then C is not really important. I'll get around to it, but it still has to be done. So now put them from that piece of paper over to your calendar, and you will see that you will pick those most important things to get done. Planning. Taking the most important task and finishing them first, because it's really important. If you don't take that most important task, you're just going to keep putting it off and putting it off. You know, prioritize those tasks, because if it's most important, just get it done. Put it on that calendar, be able to cross it out. It's like the best feeling just to cross that out and go, I finally accomplished that. Schedule what you need to do. I mean, put it right down there on the calendar and live by the calendar. We have calendars at school that you can put it on, and you can see every day. You can go to that calendar, click it in, you'll see that that becomes really important. Emphasize the colors. If you need it to say test in red, put it in red. Put it in all capital letters so you notice it. Plan to write down those tasks and make sure you complete them. And you do it in a timely manner. How to prepare in advance. And this is what I was talking about, is preparing for that psychology class. So you want to do studying chapter 1. You want to start it on January 11th. You get the information and you got the week to work on it. So you're going to do it through the week of January 11th. And then you're going to start studying on chapter 2 the second week. You want to go to the third chapter on week 3, and then you want to review all of those chapters so that when the test comes on February 5th, you're ready to go because you've done the studying and then you're doing the review on the third week. Always review because it keeps the information right on the top of your brain. All habits can be learned and unlearned in 3 weeks. So let's start a real change. So planning, make your plans, write them down, follow your plans, make a schedule. Make the schedule and then follow the schedule. After 3 weeks, they become a habit. And then they become second nature to you. So just remember, it takes 3 weeks to start that real change, and you'll notice the big difference. If you keep doing it, it will just become second nature. Start making the right decision. Follow your schedule. It's really important to follow the schedule. Do your studying, do your homework. Again, go to class, get your projects done. Put your phone away. Put down the social media. It's not that important. There's nothing there that you can't look at later and say, oh, I just spoke to somebody who had been off Facebook for months, and they said, yeah, I really didn't miss anything. So, I was like, well, it's really interesting. These are things that can help you improve your success and your efficiency at studying and learning and becoming successful. Don't make bad decisions. Like, don't miss class. That's so important. The notes that your teacher's talking about that you should be writing down are probably in those classes. So don't, so missing class, don't do it. Don't do your homework, well, you're gonna start falling behind. So if you don't do it, don't show up late. That shows kind of disrespect that you're showing up late to something. Don't sleep in. You're never going to catch up. And don't make that decision not to study. So your decisions will greatly affect you on your success. So we want to be able to see those cap and gowns on you in 2 years, and hopefully you will do all the things of don't miss your class, don't do your homework, don't do anything that's going to impede your success. So setting goals and achieving them. Honestly, if you set goals and you know what you want, it's going to make your life happier because you know where you're going and you know what you're doing to become successful. You'll learn how to get there by setting these goals. And each decision you make right now helps you achieve your goals. So if you're making bad decisions, you're not going to be able to achieve those goals. So you want to stick to all of them. And once you do that, it's going to make it easier for you to achieve your goals, make the right decision, and it'll help you prioritize all your tasks, and you'll be ready for, for success. And not only that, setting these goals, even for the future, is going to be important, because even when you get to a job, learning to do this and setting those goals and being prepared helps you in being successful. I'm sure most teachers set their programs up before they get into school, and then they prepare them as each week comes on to make sure that they're organized and ready to go. And so we're going to talk about how important it is. So, like I said, a lot of teachers are organized. So one of the important goals is setting that path, being organized, and then staying on that path. You have to stay on the path, because if you don't stay on the path, it's going to really affect you. Again, I have another study in, another saying from Benjamin Franklin that I think is wonderful. I love all of his sayings. I didn't fail the test. I just found 100 ways to do it wrong. And I can tell you, I'm sure that, you sat there in that same situation going like, oh yeah, I didn't do that right. So just take your time instead of worrying about what you did wrong. Start organizing yourself and being prepared for your classes and doing the studying as you're learning along. What are one of the things you can do? What is one thing that no one else can give you besides time? That's really true. No one else can give you time. So if you think about it, I'm going to give you a minute to think, because I think it's really important that people know this, is what are those things that no one else can give you? You want to know what the answer is? Motivation. No one can give it to you. You have to be motivated. It has to be about you, not about anyone else. You have to internally take that time to think, I want to be motivated because I want to be successful in my class. You can't force anyone to be motivated. It is an internal force. It's really important that we understand that, if we want to be successful, we've got to take the time to set our calendars up, to set ourselves up for success. No one else in the world is going to be able to give us that motivation, just ourselves. And when we realize that there's going to be a cap and gown at the end of the year, at the end of 2 years, and we'll have a better job and we'll be able to be paid better, that should be the internal drive. And to look at your family and say, hey, look, I did it. Here I am in my cap and gown, and I successfully. One of the things I say to a lot of people is, they say school's really hard. Well, it's supposed to be. If it wasn't hard, everybody would be here. That's one of the most important things I think people should understand, is not everybody can be here. They don't have the motivation, they don't have that internal drive to make them successful. So remember, you're here, make a success of it. Do what you need to so you can get out of here, so you're not repeating classes. So by not being motivated to succeed in your class, you will be on a path where there'll be pressures being built up, leaving you disorganized, and that will create disarray in your life. By not being, you're going to be procrastinating, and at the last minute, everything's going to be crazy. You're not going to be able to get anything done because you're so busy trying to, figure out well, I got to work, I got to do my classes, I got to do my homework, and I got to study for this test. I mean, be organized, be motivated, create a path that is successful. And that's why we talk about going to these time management classes. Remember, this is your life, and this is what life is about. Life is a constant battle between giving in to the ease of distraction and overcoming the pain of discipline. You have to be disciplined to be able to be successful. I don't think anyone wants to find that their lives are, it's just this delicate balance of, I want to be successful, but I also don't want to give in to, I'm just being distracted all the time, and I'm going to like do this, and I want to go call my friend, or I want to look at social media, or want to watch a movie. It takes 2 hours to watch a movie on average. So, you don't want to do all that. You want to have that delicate balance. So what about life? It's a sum of 100,000 daily battles and tiny decisions to either gut it out or give it up. And I know there's been a lot of times on these online learning where you're making decisions all day long, like, am I going to go into this class? Am I going to be here? Do I want to do my studying? Do I want to get up? I mean, those are thousands of decisions you're making daily, and so you got to make that decision. Am I going to gut it out? Am I going to just give it up? So, you want to do that. This is the moment when you don't feel like doing the work. That's when you're going to give it up. So it's not a moment you need to throw away. This is not a dress rehearsal. You've got to do it or you will fail. This moment is your life, as anyone is most important at any moment is to be successful. Keep it in your mind. Make sure you spend that time and be proud of the time you spent studying. I think that's one of the most important things. Stay focused. Everybody thinks they can multitask, but it's really not true. It's all a myth. Nobody can multitask. Your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. If you think you can watch a movie and read your chapter, it's not happening. Either read your chapter, or you're going to have them in between. Like when you go to do your test, you're going to oh yeah, that's where I was in that part of the movie, and I can remember the movie, but I can't remember what I was supposed to be reading. So stay focused on one task all of the time. You can achieve your goals and get better results if you stay on one task. Block out all your distractions. If you're an online student, make sure you have one spot set up for just you, and that you can have your information right there at hand, and that you'll be able to pull it without any problems, and that you're in a quiet, distractible, that's not distractible. You're in a quiet place, and that's where you want to be. Working with others. I think this is really important, and I've said it a million times that I really think is find someone in the Learning Lab who will help you. Attend my Wednesday workshops. Really important. It will teach you success. Learn to work with someone. Find a friend in your class. Sign up for a tutor that can work with you. Talk with your advisors. Work with a specialized instructional tutor. That would be me. Ask someone to help you clean up your notebook. I can't tell you how many students I see in college who have notebooks that are a disaster, and they can't find anything because one paper's in this notebook, one paper's in that book. Get organized. Have someone help you if you can't become organized. There are some students who really struggle with organizing their information. And work with a person who will teach you time management. I think this is one of the most important things to do is learn to say no. If you learn to say no, if you don't learn to say no, you're going to lose track of your priorities. By learning to say no, I can't help you right now. This will help prioritize the most important tasks rather than someone else giving you more time to work forward and being successful in your college experience. By learning to say no, you can put you in a place where you can say, okay, I'll help you later, but right now I need to think of me. Really important. What happens if you fail to say no? Well, you can tell that it's not going to be a good thing. This will help you to prioritize the most important task rather than someone else's. You're going to give them more time towards them being successful in their college experience, and you won't be successful. What do you do if you fail to say no? You will fail. So what happens if you fail? And this is really important. Learn to deal with the failure. Many people have failed, like Abraham Lincoln. Pick up yourself and start over again. Don't wallow in your self-pity. It's really important. In the next few slides, we're going to talk about that failure of Abraham Lincoln and how many times, he had to go before he became successful. So probably the greatest example of Abraham Lincoln, if you want to learn about someone who didn't quit, look no further. This man was born into poverty. He faced a lot of defeats through his lifetime. He lost 8 elections, twice failed in his businesses. He suffered a nervous breakdown. So he still became successful. He didn't give up. He had many things that went wrong, but he didn't end up quitting. He just became a success. He was a champion because he never gave up. This is his road. So you can see, in 1816, his family was forced out of a home. He had to get a job to support them. His mother died in 1818. He had his first failed business. In 1831, he ran for state legislation and he lost. He also lost his job. So, and he wanted to go to he wanted to go to law school, but couldn't get in. He borrowed some money from a friend to begin a business, and at the end, he became bankrupt. He spent 17 years of his life paying off the bankruptcy. He was engaged to marry to his sweetheart, and she died, and his heart was broken. He had a total nervous breakdown and was in bed for 6 months. He sought Speaker of the state legislature, and he was defeated again. He sought to become an elector, defeated, ran for Congress, lost again, ran for Congress. This time he won. So it took him to 1846 to win. And then he ran for re-election and lost again. In 1849, he sought a job as a land office in his home state, was rejected, ran for Senate, lost again, sought the vice president nominee of his party, got less than 100 votes, ran for U.S. Senate again, he lost, elected president of the United States, and he was successful. But look at how many losses and how many things that discouraged him. He had to pick up his feet and go on. So without continuous growth and progress, such words to improve achievement and success have no meaning. You have to be able to grow. You have to be able to progress. It's not going to mean anything. So be successful, take time, do what you need to do, stay with the schedule, and if you need help, please let me know. I'm in L215 in the library, and I'm behind the circulation desk. My extension or my phone number is 362-7460. Call me, I'll help you. Um, get in touch with someone who can get in touch with me. Email me. My email is rlhoffman143 at mail.cfcc.edu. Good luck. Best of luck with your success, and we'll hope to talk to you soon and hear from you, and we'll see you at the next workshop. Have a great day. Goodbye.